This sequence of events that you're looking at right now was all triggered with one single attack. Everything else has either been a follow-up from Herta, Himiko, or Jade. We officially have the strongest team compositions that we have ever seen in pure fiction for Honkai Star Rail, and it's all thanks to mostly Jade. As you can see coming up here, wait for it, finally, this is the first time that I would have ever had to have pushed a button since this video started. And if you take a look at how low investment this team is, look at my Himiko. She's level 70. She has like no traces at all, and barely of them are even activated or leveled whatsoever. She's basically walking around naked out there. And this Herta, incredibly low investment as well. This Jade, these characters are not built. And as you can see here, I was able to clear the hardest content in pure fiction, Stage 4, Side 2, the Ebony Deer, and I was able to get all max of all 40,000 points with this incredibly low investment team. This is beyond broken. Jade might not necessarily be the most powerful character right now for Memory of Chaos, but I think she might be the most powerful character for pure fiction as it stands right now. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. So there are timestamps in this video in case you wanted to skip ahead or rewatch certain parts of the video, like for instance later when I go over the different builds and team compositions that you could run with this particular setup that we have here. And for this setup, for the showcasing, I decided to use Herta, Jade, Himiko, and Ranmei to prove several different points. Mainly that you don't even need to run a sustainability character in pure fiction if your team composition is strong enough, like you have enough synergy and strong enough characters. So you see So you see Ranmei here acting as the sustainability character for this team setup because she does delay the enemy's actions with one of her abilities, so she kind of acts as the sustainability character for this team. This is also a very, very low investment team, so the damage isn't as high as it could be, and Ranmei helps with the damage output because of that. And as you can see, this is obviously a very, very sweaty setup where we're running literally no healer or tank because we're trying to increase our damage output, but you could totally just run Aventurine instead of Ranmei here. He'll provide you a ton of shield, and he has synergy with not only Herta, Himiko, but also Jade, literally every single other character on the team because he has follow-up synergy working into his kit, and every other character on this team is also a follow-up character. It is the safer route, so definitely run this if you wanted to feel more safe in combat. Now you could choose Robin in this last slot as well. She has synergy with both Himiko, Jade, and Herta. However, she's not necessarily as safe as running somebody like Ranmei, because Ranmei does provide that weakness break delay on enemies when you do break their weakness. As long as her ultimate is active, you will get that, and so she essentially does act sort of like a sustainability character on this team. You could also drop one of the characters, such as dropping Himiko and then inserting in somebody like Aventurine, and then the team is much more safe and you get a lot of buffs off of somebody like Ranmei or somebody like Firefly. So definitely keep that in mind. You don't necessarily have to run Herta, Himiko, and Jade. I just wanted to show you guys how powerful that trio is. And the Jade strategies are going so hard right now in pure fiction. It's insane. I've never had easier or more low investment clears in pure fiction literally ever. So if you have Jade, go out there and give it a shot. Obviously her best combination right now is with like the Himiko Herta Jade combo. That's just so powerful right now. Obviously you can try out Blade, you can try out Jing Yuan or Argenti or QQ, any strong erudition character, because erudition is just so broken right now in pure fiction. You have follow-up synergies as well, but I would suggest using follow-up synergy for Blade and something like Memory of Chaos, and I'd lean into her synergy with erudition if you're going to use her in pure fiction. Now, something very important to not forget is that Deck Collector, as you can see here, this buff given to Herta by Jade right now, is unfortunately something that can run out. So you just want to make sure that if it does run out or it's about to run out, that you reapply it with Jade onto your main DPS that you are using, just like in this case it's Herta. So just definitely don't forget that that could happen, because this combination is so powerful, you might not be thinking about it, and then all of a sudden your damage might fall off and you're like, where did it go? And it's because Deck Collector fell off and you're no longer synergizing with Jade as well as you should be. So just keep that in mind. Don't let deck collector run out. Now let's take a look at these builds because this is the most shocking part of the entire video. Then we'll take a look at this last slot here, which is a flex slot. You could either be running Ron May on this team here, or you could be running Robin, or you could also be running Aventurine, which is a very, very safe option, but it has a ton of synergy with this team as well. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's take a look at these builds, okay? Because Himiko, for example, is not built up, dude. She's missing most of her traces, bro. She's missing a main trace. Are you kidding? And then every single attack trace and fire damage trace is completely missing, except for this very first one here, because this one's practically free. So, dude, that is insane. And then some of these are at level frickin' 3, bro. Are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding, dog? That's insane, okay? That's bad, okay? Now, even Herta is also lacking a little bit here, as you can see. She's running some pretty low traces as well. And Jade is not fully built up either, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pull Jade because I've been focusing on so many other games and so many different things. I wasn't sure if I had enough Jade or pulls to be able to even get her. So this is my day one, like, just, you know, broken down version of Jade right here, okay? So let's talk about the light cones real quick too. We do have the Super Imposition 5 level 80 light cone for Seriousness of Breakfast on Jade. We do have Himiko's signature light cone, to be fair, but Herta is rocking a level 70 Super Imposition 1 of Seriousness of Breakfast, which is a 4-star light cone, of course. This is a free-to-play light cone that you can get from the Forgotten Hall shop, okay? You can just get this, like, for free, bro. Straight up. Now, obviously, because of that, I'm going to level this up. I just wasn't expecting to need to have all 3 of these characters with fully leveled up light cones when I, you know, started the idea for this video today, okay? So my bad, all right? Let's go ahead and take a look at the Eidolons in case you guys are curious. Jade is at E0, Himiko is at E2, but let's be real here. Her Eidolon 1 and 2 are not exactly super great. Her Eidolon 2 is okay, but when you look at like every other 5-star in the game, this leaves a lot to be desired. Now, obviously, Herta is at C6, and you may have noticed I haven't talked about Ron May at all yet, but that's because she's the only character here that's actually built. Then let's talk about that for just a second here. I built her to be slightly faster, right? We have above 134 speed so that we can get more turns, because normally in Memory of Chaos, you might want to consider running a slow Ron May, right? Because you want to be able to beat the enemies so fast that her buff never runs out. But that's not the type of content that she's in this situation. She's in Pure Fiction. In Pure Fiction, your ultimate buff will simply run out if you run slow Ron May. So you want to consider running a faster Ron May, because then you will be able to activate her ultimate more often. And believe it or not, with a faster Ron May in Pure Fiction specifically, you will have your ultimate more often than if she was slow. For all of the slow Ron May enjoyers, you might want to consider running her fast in Pure Fiction, which is what I'm doing here. This team is incredibly cracked, even at low investment, okay? Now, I have 2 accounts. That's why you see my Himiko here is really bad and my Herta here is really bad. And my Jade should be more invested, but my other account is the account that I have a better invested Himiko and Herta. I run 2 accounts in this game, so forgive me for that. And just to further prove my point that this is a bit of a janky setup and you could definitely do even better than I was doing in this video, I was playing like booty cheeks, okay? So obviously this isn't a terrible setup for Herta, but it's not exactly an ideal setup for Herta under the scenarios that we were taking a look at. Here's Himiko. Again, not bad, but like it's not perfect for what we were going for. And here's Jade. Yeah, the Quantum gear on Jade. Now, she is a Quantum character, so she does get the 10% damage buff for Quantum, and she does get the 20% defense shred against most of the enemies she was going against in the video, because a lot of those enemies were Quantum weak. Not every single one, but I feel like the ones that mattered were Quantum weak. So she either got 10% or 20% given whatever scenario that she was in. And you may have noticed that the planar setup is a bit of a mistake. I goofed up when I was setting up her gear. So I'm wearing 1/2 of the Herta Wandering Trek right now, but I'm also wearing 1/2 of Solsato. And this was a big screw up on my part, because I was trying to get the 8% crit rate and the 15% damage buff to my ultimate and my follow-up attacks, because obviously that's where a ton of Jade's damage comes from in this setup. Now, the reason why I screwed this up is because I took a bunch of gear off of Topaz and Ratio and a bunch of other characters in order to set up these characters for this video. This is why we need loadouts, Hoyoverse. It is way too easy to screw up something like this and make a mistake. Now, despite that mistake, she still absolutely destroyed Pure Fiction, as you saw. So even with goof-ups like the one I made, even with, you know what I mean, less than stellar light cone setups for some of these characters, even though some of these characters are only friggin' level 70, bro, this team still absolutely slayed this content. So, thank you for catching this video out. If you like this video, you like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, you know what I mean, Zenless Zone Zero, consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.